What's up, Tampa? It is August 21st. For those of you just joining, welcome to Tampa Talk. I am John, and it is just me this week. But don't worry, Dahlia will be back. But before we get into everything happening around Tampa, we've got a little bit of Tampa Talk news of our own. So we're going to change things up a little bit around here. So rather than recording Tampa Talk every single week, we're going to be moving the podcast audio companion to a monthly roundup format. So the idea is really pretty simple. So we would rather come to you once a month, dialogue with Dahlia and I for some really good, thoughtful roundup of what's been happening throughout Tampa throughout the month, rather than feeling like we need to fill an update episode every single week just because another Friday has come along. Now, the things that you've come to expect are not going to change. We're still going to talk about local news. We're still going to keep an eye on what's going on at City Council and what's happening around City Hall in general. We're going to dig into Tampa history, maybe this month in Tampa history, and we're going to still share events that are happening around town and some of the things that are going on in our own work. We're just going to gather those conversations into one stronger, kind of more intentional monthly episode. But here's what's important. The newsletter is not going to go monthly. So the newsletter will still come into your inbox every Friday morning with all of the links of the things that have been going around town for this week in kind of Tampa, this week in Tampa history, this weekend upcoming events. So the newsletter is not going anywhere. So if you are only following us as a podcast, maybe on Spotify, I would highly encourage you right now to go to wordonthestreets.xyz and make sure you're subscribed. It's free. You can throw us a bone if you want. It has the option to pay, but you get it either way. It's a free subscription, wordonthestreets.xyz. Subscribe. That'll put this into your inbox every Friday morning. You'll be seeing the same stories that we're seeing, that we're kind of keeping our finger on the pulse still. But when we come together over the month, what we want to do is look at trajectory of things rather than like, oh, every week there's like a continuing conversation. Is like we can give you a more robust kind of review of things that are going on, hopefully more thematic and more conversation and dialogue as we have given more thought and preparation to the episode. We're just thinking, hopefully it's a better product. We would love to hear what you think about the concept. And as we do it, we're really hoping that it is a meaningful engagement for you. They're fuller shows, more intentional shows. So Tampa Talk isn't going anywhere. The weekly newsletter still remains, but we are going to make the audio companion a little less frequent and a little more intentional. All right. So that's a little housekeeping I wanted to get out of the way. So let's get into what's going on around Tampa. And we're going to start with This Week in Tampa History. This Week in Tampa History actually takes us back to August 23rd, 1925. That was the day that Baldomero Lopez was born right here in Tampa. Now, if you don't know that name, you might should. So Lopez grew up in Tampa before enlisting in the U.S. Navy in July of 1943. He served about a year before being discharged and then receiving an appointment to the United States Naval Academy. He graduated in June of 1947 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. From there, his military career took him around the world. In 1948, Lopez was sent to China, where he served first as a mortar section commander and later as a rifle platoon commander in Tsingtao and Shanghai. After returning to the United States, he was stationed at Camp Pendleton in California. Then the Korean War began. Lopez volunteered for combat duty as an infantry soldier and was promoted to first lieutenant in the June of 1950. Just a few months later, on September 15th, he took part in a famous landing in Incheon. And that's where his story becomes extraordinary. During the fighting, Lopez attempted to throw a live grenade into an enemy position. The grenade slipped from his hand. Realizing that there was no time left for himself and the Marines around him to get out safely, Lopez put the grenade beneath his body and absorbed the explosion himself. He was just 25 years old. He died protecting the Marines that were serving beside him. And for that act, First Lieutenant Baldomero Lopez was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military decoration. Secretary of the Navy Daniel Kimball presented the medal to Lopez's parents in Washington, D.C. the following year. The war correspondent, writing shortly after his death, said Lopez had, quote, died with the courage that makes men great. And today he is buried right here in the Tampa Centro Siriano Memorial Park. It's one of those Tampa stories that connects this city to a much larger national history. The kid born right here, 1925, ultimately became one of the most decorated Marines of the Korean War. Now, City Council Spotlight, there's not much to report because Council was off last week for the Florida League of Cities annual conference. So regular City Council Spotlight coverage will pick back up. And again, we'll share in the update newsletter each week, and then we will discuss more thematically over the course of the month. So let's get a little bit into the news. Start with some good news for Bucs fans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have reached a contract extension with defensive tackle Vita Vea. The deal ends what had essentially become a training camp hold-in, where Vea remained with the team but wasn't fully participating while his contract situation was worked out. Tampa clearly decided they wanted to keep one of the anchors of the defense around. Vea was originally selected by the Buccaneers with the 12th overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. This will now be his third contract with Tampa Bay, and the extension reportedly keeps him in Tampa through the 2027 season and effectively amounts to a 2-year deal worth about $48 million, all reportedly guaranteed. And if you're wondering whether a nose tackle is worth that kind of money, the numbers make a pretty strong case. Vea has recorded 256 tackles, including 48 tackles for a loss, 29 quarterback hits, 35 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. His 35 sacks already rank 8th in Buccaneers franchise history. And since 2019, he has recorded more sacks than any other nose tackle in the NFL. Even more impressive, since Vea became a full-time starter in 2019, Tampa Bay has allowed an NFL low 94.5 rushing yards per game. So Vita Vea stays in Tampa, and quarterback and running backs throughout the NFC remain, let's say, unhappy. Plant City Police are introducing something. So this one feels like we've officially crossed into a different era. So Plant City Police are now using artificial intelligence to help answer non-emergency phone calls. The system is called AVA, which stands for the Automated Virtual Assistant. Plant City Police partner with an AI company called Arlian to develop the service. And here's how it works. If you call the department's non-emergency line, AVA can answer the call and begin asking questions about what happened. Where did the incident occur? What exactly are you reporting? Who is involved? The AI then creates a transcript and pulls out key information for a human dispatcher to review. That dispatcher can then send police whatever additional response may be necessary. Afterward, AVA can send the caller a confirmation text message. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Are we really going to let AI decide whether something is an emergency? Not exactly. So Plant City Police says AVA is also trained to recognize words and phrases that indicate someone may actually be dealing with an emergency. Again, this is the non-emergency line. And if that happens, the call gets transferred to a live dispatcher. And importantly, AVA will not answer 911 calls. So that's the distinction that's important to remember. This is the non-emergency line for the department. Police say the goal is to reduce the burden on human dispatchers so that they can concentrate on the more urgent calls. It's going to be interesting to really watch this unfold. I'll be interested to see too, like, I've been in situations where I was like, it's not exactly an emergency. Maybe I'll call the non-emergency line. And I could imagine people going, screw it, I'm going to call 911 so I can actually talk to someone and get this message across. Although I guess as this technology improves, people will feel more comfortable. It'll just be interesting to see how it plays out, where these conversations go over the next few years and where AI actually can maybe save people time. And where do we absolutely still need it to be a human being? So interesting story there. And then there's this story. Hillsborough County deputies arrested a Riverview mother after they say she allowed her 11-year-old child to drive her car to the gas station. Deputies were called to a 7-Eleven on Gordon Road around 8:30 Sunday night after reports of a child had crashed a vehicle into a concrete traffic barrier. According to the sheriff's office, 41-year-old Caribbean Myers told investigators that she had allowed her 11-year-old child, who has autism, to drive the vehicle from their home to the gas station while she rode along in the passenger seat and supervised. Thankfully, no one was injured. The building did sustain some damage. Deputies say the investigation uncovered another issue. Myers had not had a valid driver's license since July 13th. Investigators say this was not the first time she had allowed the underage child to drive without a valid license. She did not have a valid license, and Myers was arrested and charged with child abuse and permitting an unauthorized minor to operate a vehicle. there's parenting decisions, and there are decisions that involve handing your keys to an 11-year-old. So anyway, that happened. So here's another kind of fun local startup story. A recent USF graduate has created an app, a free app designed to help people find deals and discounts around Tampa Bay. The idea began while Nicholas Eisengrein, a USF business student, was delivering food to make some extra money. And while picking up orders from the restaurants, he started wondering whether some of those businesses might want to advertise deals directly to college students. His first idea was a newsletter. We like newsletters. But then he eventually evolved to an app called 9 Yaps. Think of it basically as being a digital coupon book. The app now features deals and discounts at more than 100 restaurants and businesses throughout Tampa Bay. And it isn't just for students anymore. Anyone can download it for free. User doesn't pay anything for the app. Businesses pay to be featured and offer exclusive deals through the platform. Things like 2-for-1 drinks or discounted meals. It's one of those really simple ideas that makes you wonder why someone didn't already build something like this. And especially at a time when pretty much everybody is looking for a way to stretch their dollars a little bit further. Seems like there's a good market fit. So if you guys do download and use 9 Yaps, we would love to hear what you think. Again, you can always message us. Just go to Instagram at WellBuilt.city. We would love to hear from you there about any upcoming news, anything we want to cover, feedback on our going monthly, feedback on how the show's going, feedback on when John's on here alone, whatever. We would love and do always love hearing from you at WellBuilt.city on Instagram. And I would love to hear if any of you are using 9 Yaps and how many deals you're getting. All right, federal contract coming to the Port of Tampa. They received another federal investment. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy visited Tampa this week to announce a $1 million small shipyard grant to Gulf Marine Repair. The funding comes through the Federal Maritime Administration. It will help support a welder training program, infrastructure improvements, and new equipment. The idea is not only to improve operations at the port, but also to help create and train workers for maritime jobs, which are great jobs, by the way. The Tampa grant is part of a larger $35 million national investment aimed at strengthening commercial shipbuilding and cargo shipping capacity all around the country. Federal transportation officials described Port Tampa Bay as a particularly important asset because of its potential to serve as a larger shipping hub connecting the United States with both the Caribbean and potentially with Asia. But realizing that potential also depends on several long-term infrastructure projects, particularly a planned channel extension and dredging. And so this $1 million grant is relatively small compared with the scale of these projects, but it's another piece of a much bigger conversation of what Port of Tampa could become. All right, let's talk about what's happening around town. Now, first up, this might be one of the cutest concepts we have ever talked about as a upcoming event on Tampa Talk. So if you have little ones, listen up. The Florida Aquarium is hosting the Cuddle Clinic August 23rd. And no, it's not a clinic where someone professionally cuddles you. Kids are invited to bring their favorite stuffed animal to the aquarium for a complete pretend medical checkup. We're talking they're going to get x-rays, dental exams, a nutrition assessment, vision tests, the whole thing. The idea is to help kids learn both animal and human healthcare in a playful way while encouraging empathy and curiosity. It runs from 9 to 5 and is included with a regular aquarium admission. So grab your stuffed animal from your house that apparently needs to go see the doctor and hasn't been in years, and go and get them checked out. Obviously, Beer Fest Brews and Barbecue continues every Saturday, Sunday at Busch Gardens through the end of August. This is craft beer, barbecue. We've been telling you guys about this. Live entertainment, obviously, it's Busch Gardens, so you got roller coasters. And anyway, maybe ride the roller coasters first and then go eat barbecue and drink beer. Maybe not the other way around, probably advisable. But anyway, it's included with park admission. So just go to pay to be at Busch Gardens. And then before we get out of here, a few things that are happening in our own world. If you want to follow what's happening through Well-Fed Community, you can check out some social channels because there are several recurring events worth knowing about. That's at Well-Fed Community. So Root Awakening Farm night market next Friday at 5:30. There's also a cooking class at Root Awakening Farm every Thursday at noon. Then on Saturday, September 5th at noon, they will be over at the Florida Blue Center in West Shore. And one more date I definitely want all of you to put on your calendar is Thursday, September 24th. Thursday, September 24th, WellBuilt Cities is hosting The Table. This is a gathering of city builders, aka a fundraiser for our ecosystem. There are individual sponsor tickets and group sponsorship if you want to sponsor and host a table of 8. You can just go givebutter.com/WBC The Table. So WBC like WellBuilt Cities, givebutter.com/WBC The Table. That will go directly to where you can get your tickets for the event. You could sponsor a table. There's some more opportunity for sponsorship there as well. We will continue to share a lot more, but I really hope all of you will be there because it's when we're all going to gather, cast vision for our city, for our ecosystem, the work to be done, and then we're all going to invest together in some like effort at mutual aid to see our city become the city that we know that it can be and that it will be if we continue to invest and work together. That's what we got for you this week. One more reminder before you go. This is the beginning of a slightly different rhythm of Tampa Talk. So the newsletter will continue to come into your inbox every Friday morning. So make sure you're subscribed at wordonthestreets.xyz. And then the audio companion podcast that you can link directly to, tampatalk.xyz, will be coming out at the end of every month. We'll do it as a monthly episode for now, but still Tampa history, events. That's what we got for you. So hopefully that lets us spend more time reflecting on what's been going on, more time being intentional about the conversations that we're having when we are with you, and gathering the themes and the things. So as always, please comment, rate, share the show. Again, you can find the podcast, tampatalk.xyz. You can subscribe to the newsletter, wordonthestreets.xyz. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for hanging out with us this week. Hopefully this new rhythm works for you and is exciting for you. Let us know how it is working, both in frequency and then in content and intentionality. Hopefully you will notice we can dive deeper into some of the dialogue, some of the commentary. Some of you have told us you like hearing when we're maybe sharing a little bit more about what we think, having more conversations about this week in the work. It'll be this month in the work. Hopefully there'll be a lot more conversational and more in-depth intentionality around those episodes. That's what we got for you this week. We will see you like this in a month. And in the meantime, keep an eye on your inbox. You will get the updates every week as a newsletter in newsletter form. Thank you so much. Until next time, y'all be good.